What up, fam? Packing my Lego Black Falcon army and castle for Brickworld Chicago. So if you watched my latest video of my Black Falcon army series level 19 where I introduced the Black Falcon castle, somewhere in the video I mentioned that I had to figure out a way to have this castle be transportable. Not only that, I have to also pack 1,000 plus Black Falcons to be able to transport and fly to Brickworld Chicago. So obviously I don't have the ability to be able to drive this whole thing over there. I already accept the fact that the castle is most likely going to be destroyed by the time I get there. Luckily for me, I have friends that could help me out if I really wanted to. So as I was filming the castle video, I did do a actual mock setup to how I want the Black Falcon army and castle to look like when I'm on display for Brickworld Chicago. So if you're heading to the event, you'll most likely see my castle somewhere around Fake Lug. That's what we're calling ourselves, which is, I guess, only Holly, myself, and Brightest Witch Bricks, Lauren, or it could just be Holly and I if Lauren doesn't, and maybe Sans and Claire if they decide to bring something out. I don't know if it's gonna be with Castle, hopefully it's not, but you'll be able to see it in person live. Until then, I have to figure out a way to pack all of this and game plan to not be entirely destroyed. I already know that I'm gonna have to sit there and build all these mills and set up each unit as I normally do for any time I display my Black Falcon army. That in itself will already take me a couple hours just to do, and luckily all these units are already separated into different type of Ziploc bags and they're ready to stack. I don't need to put their armor together. I don't need to give them their weapons. The only thing I really need to do aside from putting them on a mills plate is give them their flags at the very end. But for the most part, they are 100% ready. The castle, on the other hand, I don't know. I'm going to be taking with me a large suitcase and a small suitcase and a duffel bag. I also going to carry a carry-on with me, which I'll be able to house some piece of the army, but for the most part, it's really just going to be my laptop, maybe 2 bags of the Red Falcons, and my cameras and devices. The other carry-on is going to house as much Black Falcons as I can shove in there, and they, for the most part, fit. Now, by shoving all this in there, the elephant units shatter completely. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to just put all this in there, or if I'm comfortable just rebuilding these units all over again. I probably might just do that. Just shove all of them in there and then call it a day. And with that being said, along with my backpack, this is going to be my carry-on onto the plane. These minifigures in itself are worth a lot of money, and I can live with losing the castle if it gets checked in. This, on the other hand, will be very hard and very expensive to replace. So this is going to be with me everywhere I go until I get to convention and back. Now for the mills plates and the castles, I'm going to be bringing 2 check-in bags. One is going to be a duffel bag where I'm going to put most of my toiletries along with my change of clothes for the entire trip. I do plan on kind of shoving all the clothes and toiletries that I'm going to be bringing back to LA from Chicago in my wife's carry-on when she inevitably gets to the convention a couple days later. That way, if I do buy stuff, which I know is going to happen, I can just shove everything into that bag and check it in as well, just like I did last year. Because note to self, if you're going to a convention, be mindful to the fact that you're going to have to bring it back somehow. The hard part, which is the one that I'm most stressed out about as far as having it be put together, is this large suitcase. Now, what I'm going to do is exactly what you saw in the video, where I'm going to saran wrap each section just to keep the pieces together. And I figured as long as the pieces are somewhat together, I have no problem rebuilding it because it's not going to take long, because I don't have to search to figure out where this 1x2 came from and where it actually belongs to in any of the modular section builds. But what the saran wrap does do is just keep every piece together somewhat in the area where they came off. And I'm going to shove bubble wrap and foam where I have empty space. Now, ultimately, I think the front gate is not going to have that much of a problem. It's one solid build, so I'm not entirely concerned about that. It's the corner builds that I knew were fragile from the very beginning that I've saran wrapped each specific section along with padding with bubble wrap. I already know just by saran wrapping together that they're already broken prior to me even putting them in there, but at least they're together. These side walls, as long as I keep them spaced out together with with bubble wrap and foam in between, I think they're gonna be fine. As well as these little yellow archer towers and buildings, I think they're gonna be okay too, as long as I saran wrap and keep them together. The only thing is, I already know for a Lego set, it takes this much energy and friction to be able to crack it in pieces. I'm already going into it knowing that I'm gonna have to rebuild it. Fortunately for me, I get in earlier in the week, so I'm gonna have a couple days to rebuild this entire thing. I think it's only gonna take me at least 5-6 hours to be able to finish the whole thing, but for the most part, as long as I dedicate time to that, I will be good. The plan and setup, by the time I get there, I'm probably, upon arrival, going to start building the mills plates, because that's going to take me a minute to build 26 mills plates, as well as figuring out the space where I'm going to be and set up as quickly as possible, because there's going to be a lot of people coming to Chicago this year. I don't know if they're truly going to have the space allotted that people requested. That being said, I just need to get my space needed for my mills plates set up as quickly as possible that Wednesday morning, and then I'll just spend the entire day that day just setting it up and meeting people. Hopefully by the end of Wednesday, it's done and ready, so that way Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I am just chilling until I have to break it all down again. But either way, I'm looking forward to people getting to see this in person, and if you are able to attend the event, please drop by, say hi. Don't jack me, because I will find you. I was thinking about purchasing different Pelican cases or any of these large travel cases for cameras and carving out different foam shapes to be able to fit these sections one by one, but that was going to cost me around $400 or $500 on its own. And again, a small friction of energy is going to make a crack no matter what. It's not a camera, they're Lego pieces and they're not glued, so they're going to break. So if I just saved myself the money, pack it in these suitcases, I could use that money and just buy more Lego when I'm over there. I think that'll be the best decision. Plus, I've already spent enough money for these castles. And I know even slapping a fragile sticker on the suitcase isn't going to do squat, so hopefully I'm able to successfully transport my Black Falcon army and castle and make it to Brickworld Chicago for everyone else to see.